Hello everybody, welcome back to the KBN YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be making a video reviewing all the epic champions from the Bannerlords faction. I thought of this idea just because this game has so many champions to offer, and I don't think nearly enough of them get the recognition that they should. Even if they're not as good as the best champions in the game, I think it's still cool just to review them all, go over them, just to give them a little spotlight. So for the series on this, I want to review every champion in the game eventually, but for now, I'm gonna plan to do the epic champions from each of these factions, from all 4, 8, 12, 15, all 15 factions that are in the game right now. Go over all the epics from each one. And also, after each of the videos, I'll be ranking the champions also. So for this video, I'm going to be reviewing all the epic champions in the Bannerlord faction, their kits, and what I think about them. And then I'm going to make a follow-up video also on the epic Bannerlord champions, ranking each one of them S tier to, I believe, D tier. So look out for that video after this. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and let's get started. The first epic champion for the Bannerlords, his name is Horden. This is him right here. Aesthetically, I like it a lot. Double axe, good armor. So for his A1, he's attacks one enemy 2 times, grants an extra turn if the target's killed. So if you were to kill a single enemy, you can attack the next one, doing good damage, which is quite nice. His A2 attacks one enemy. He has a 60% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Also heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. It's a pretty good ability. His A3, he's going to place a 50% increased attack, a 30% increased crit rate, and a 30% increased speed buff on himself for 2 turns. And then he also grants an extra turn. It's pretty good, but I'm not usually a big fan of skills that only work on himself. The champion that uses it, I usually like all ally, which you'll see a couple of those coming up. His aura increases ally speed and faction crips by 20%. That's a pretty good aura. Horden, overall, a pretty decent champion. He's not going to be someone you're going to use forever, but definitely can help you if you pull him early in the game or towards the middle of your account. Next, we got Lordly Legionary. The way you get this champion, you can get him for free, I believe, at 150 days on the login rewards. The bad thing about him is when you get him at 150 days into your account, he's not really going to be as valuable as most of the champions you probably already have. So that's his downside. He is made for Fire Knight, so if you need help for Fire Knight, that's a good solution. His A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, and he places an extra hit if the target is under a 50% heal reduction. Places 2 extra hits if they're under 100% heal reduction. It's a pretty good skill, but you guys are going to see he doesn't have heal reduction in his kit, which kind of sucks. So you have to have another ally that can bring that for him. Say 2 attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed for 2 turns. Also decreases the target's turn meter by 20% if the decreased speed debuff is placed. So if you place the decreased speed, he also gets that decreased target turn meter by 20%, which is a double good skill right there. I actually really like that skill. A3, he's going to be placing a 30% reflect damage buff and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's what I was talking about. I like these skills that work on all allies instead of just himself. So that's an example right there. Like that way more than Horden's kit. Overall, He's a pretty good champion, but like I said, just depends on when you get him, and by the time you get him, he's not very valuable, which sucks. Alright, the next epic we have, Archmage Helmet. This epic is actually considered one of the better epics in the entire game, not just in the Bannerlord faction, so that's one good thing I could tell you guys about him. He is a support champion. His A1 attacks one enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 10%, also fills the turn meter by 20% if the attack is critical. His A2, he attacks one enemy, also attacks all other enemies if the first attack is critical. The second hit has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. After attacking, decreases the turn meter of each enemy without a stun debuff by 20%. So this guy is definitely a control champion along with the healing support champion. It's very good in arena. A lot of people would argue that he's one of the better support epics in the game, like I said. So you do get him by getting fragments that you earn in the Doom Tower. Just in case you guys are wondering, that's the only way you can get him, I believe. I don't know if you could pull him, to be honest. Okay, his A3 places a 30% increased speed, a 30% increased crit rate, and a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's on a 5-turn cooldown, but if you book it out, it goes down to a 3-turn, which is really good. That's a crazy good ability for a 3-turn cooldown. And his passive ability, he's immune to turn meter decreasing effects. So all these things that he does to other enemies by decreasing their turn meters and filling his own team's turn meter, you can't decrease his. So he's immune to it, which makes him a very good arena champion, very good support. Definitely fits in a lot of teams. So yeah, I would rank him pretty high. Alright, next we got Gerard the Stone. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Attack champion. A1 attacks one enemy, has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. 40% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn instead if the target has more than 75% turn meter. A2 places a 30% increased crit rate and a 30% increased crit damage on himself for 2 turns. Then he attacks one enemy. He will ignore 25% of the target's defense, but he will ignore 50% of the target's defense instead if the target is under an increased defense buff. His passive, he's immune to fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, and petrification debuffs. Makes him very good for Ice Golem. He can tank stun hits, so he's never going to lose a turn. You can definitely use him to help your team get through Ice Golem. His aura increases all ally resistance in Doom Tower battles by 50%. He's another champion where you're going to replace him, but if you need him to help you with damage, definitely is your guy. Good for Ice Golem. It's really all I know about this champion. Alright, sorry about that. I had to make a little cut in the video. I did realize though, when I was saying his aura, I said ally resistance in Doom Tower battles by 50%. It's not a percent, it's just a flat stat. Resistance is always flat, so ally resistance in Doom Tower battles by 50, not 50%. Just kind of want to make that clear. You don't want to look stupid or give you guys wrong information. Sorry about that. But I also wanted to say I am going to split this video into I believe maybe 2 parts, possibly 3, but I am only on the 4th one and this video is already almost at 10 minutes. I don't want to do a video that's going to be too long. I do want to keep it a good amount of time, just so I don't bore you guys in one video for too long. or put too much in one. So I just want to let you guys know that. I'm going to go ahead and finish these last 4 on this top row. I'll see how the timing's looking, and I might just cut it there, and then the next part I'll probably do the rest of them. So let's finish this video off. The next epic champion is a defense Bannerlord epic. His name is Arndolf. Has a nice little horse on top of his head with the mohawk. Pretty cool. I mean, he looks sick. Cool shield. Not sure what his weapon is. I've actually never used him, so I'm not sure how he uses it in battle. Alright, his A1, he attacks one enemy. He has a 20% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. His A2 is the AoE, attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance to place 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. Also a 25% chance of placing a fear for 1 turn. His A3 places a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. And it's on a 5 turn cooldown. If you book it out, it goes down to a 3 turn, which I think this is a really good A3, especially for a 3 turn cooldown. Gonna be able to use that a lot in battle, so I'm actually a fan of his A3. That's something good I could say about him. I've never used him, but his kit doesn't look too bad. Alright, next we got Oathbound, another defense champion. I like his look a lot, especially his face helmet. This writing right here, honor. Not sure what it says on the other side, but looks pretty sick. He also has a mohawk look going. I didn't notice that. This one looks like an angel or something. Pretty sick, huh? I like it. Alright, let's see his skills. His A1, attack one enemy, 20% chance to place a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Damage inflicted is proportional to defense. Okay, so since he is a defense champion, attack stats aren't really important. You're going to want to go for defense, which that's going to be his main source of damage, just in case some of you guys didn't know. Keep that in mind. His A2 is an attack all enemy. Has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack on all enemies for 2 turns. Also, a 55% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 20%. That's a pretty good ability for a 3 turn cooldown. His A3 attacks at random 4 times. That's really good for Fire Knight already. Each attack has a 30% chance of placing a block active skills. That's really good. And it's for 2 turns. I like that a lot, actually. The chance of the block active skills debuff increases to 100% if the target is under a decrease attack debuff. That is very good, actually. It's 100% chance to get that block active skills if the enemy has a decrease attack. And if you look on his A2, he has a 75% chance of placing a decrease attack on all enemies for 2 turns. So if he lands that on all enemies, he'll be able to block active skills on the 4 enemies that he hits with his attack at random 4 times. So that has a chance to be a really good wave skill. Block out all of their abilities, and everyone has to use their A1. All your enemies. I like that a lot. Cool. Alright, next we got Chancellor Yasmin, support champion. A1 attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if the target has no active buffs. A2 heals an ally by 40% of their max HP. Heals by 60% instead if the ally has 50% HP or less. It's really helpful if the champion you're healing is going down, low HP, gives it an extra boost. on the hill for them, which is really good. Help keep them alive. You can see that being really good for faction crypts for the Bannerlords. Or A3 has a 50% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. So got a defense cleanse right there. Strip all their buffs away. Then places a sleep debuff for 1 turn, all enemies who have active buffs. Nice. So she doesn't remove all of them. Places a sleep on the enemies who do still have buffs. So it's a win-win there, which is pretty cool. I like that. And she has an aura, increased ally speed in all battles by 20%. That's a really good aura. I like that a lot. Alright, next we got Seneschal, another defense champion. His look is, it's alright. I mean, I'd say the best part is maybe his weapon. Looks pretty cool, but the rest of it looks a little plain, you know. Same logo on his chest and shield. Yeah, I don't know. This kind of looks like a shark right here, his helmet. Well, let's see if his skills are good. His A1, he's going to attack 1 enemy. 30% chance of placing a leech for 2 turns. Leech is always a good ability. And it looks like his damage is based on defense and attack. Defense first, then also attack. So they're both pretty important here. His A2 places a perfect veil. And a 15% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. That's nice. You can book that to a 2-turn cooldown, which is really good. Next, we got the A3. Places a counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Booked down to a 4-turn cooldown. It's alright, pretty nice. Seneschal, and the average champion, I'd say, let's see, looks like he's rated best in Faction Wars, Arena offense, Arena defense, so it seems like he's more Arena champion. I've never used him personally, but his reviews are average, nothing to be hyped about. He's somebody you definitely only going to use beginning to mid-game, so if you pull him early, use him, get some value out of him in Arena, Faction Wars, but definitely don't want to look to replace him over time. That is the end of the line, but I'm going to do 2 more, so the next video I can shorten that load a little bit. Let's do Alaric the Hooded. I've actually never seen this champion before. I've kind of went over a lot of them. I think he's new. That's my guess, because I've never seen his mask before, or his name, nothing. So this could be a first-time kit review for me. I like his look, attack based. His A1 attacks 1 enemy, 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 7.5%. Decreases the turn meter by a further 3% for each buff on the target. So if you hit an enemy with multiple buffs, then he's going to decrease the turn meter by quite a lot. I like that ability, and it's an A1, so that's his main attack. His A2 attacks 1 enemy, a 50% chance of removing 2 random buffs from the target before attacking. 75% chance of stealing 2 random buffs instead if the target has 4 or more buffs. So again, if the target is has hella buffs on him, he's going to steal 2 of those, and if they have less than 4, he's just going to remove them. So either way, it's a really good ability there. A3 attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack and a 50% decrease accuracy on all enemies for 2 turns. Booked down to a 4-turn cooldown on the A3. That's another good ability. I actually really like this champion's kit. It's very different from a lot of the Bannerlord champions we've seen so far. Very unique for this faction, which is good. Always good to have those champions. His aura increased ally attack in Faction Wars by 29%. It's a really high percent aura. Only in faction crypts, but he'll definitely be very good in that. part of the game. So if you have him, definitely throw him in your team if you can. Alright, last champion for the video. It's going to be Lady Quillen, attack champion. A1 attacks one enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 15% if the attack is critical. So you're going to want to build her with 100% crit rate. Well, pretty much all attack-based champions, you're going to want to do that. Oh shoot, I took a screenshot, don't worry about that. Alright, the A2 attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if this attack is critical. And that, again, another critical bonus. Fills the turn meters of all allies by 30% if this attack kills an enemy. Oh yeah, so you're going to want to build her with high crit rate, 100%, and as much crit damage as possible so you can get this A2 to kill an enemy and boost her meter. So she could be a control champion as along with the damage dealing, definitely. A3 attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased crit damage on all allies 2 turns. Also a 50% increased attack on all allies for 2 turns if the attack is critical. So again, on all 3 abilities, getting a critical hit is going to give her a good bonus. So if you build her right, with high accuracy, crit rate, and crit damage and attack, and try if you can to get a lot of speed. So I think she could definitely be a very effective champion. Arena, faction wars, dungeons. I like this kit a lot, actually. I never really bothered to use her, build her, or nothing, but after this I might have to check her out actually to give her a go. So I like these videos, learn a new kit or two, and now I might actually want to try her out, look into her a little more. Definitely. But alright, yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. It's gonna be part 1 of the Bannerlord Epic Champions. I'll be releasing the second part to this video next, so stay tuned for that. Please like the video if you don't mind. I would definitely appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel. Stay posted on the upcoming videos. Guarantee the quality is going to be getting better and better. So thank you everybody for watching. Bye.